Buddhism around the world and in Vietnam, a living tradition of peace, faith, and everyday life. When people in the West hear about Buddhism, they often imagine quiet temples, meditating monks, and a philosophy centered on inner peace. While this image is not wrong, it only captures a small part of a much deeper and more vibrant spiritual tradition. Buddhism is not just a set of teachings, it is a living way of life practiced by hundreds of millions of people across continents. And in Vietnam, Buddhism is woven so naturally into daily life that it becomes almost invisible, yet profoundly influential. At the heart of Buddhism is the life and teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, known as the Buddha. Born over 2,500 years ago in what is now Nepal, he left behind a life of luxury to seek answers to human suffering. His journey led to enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, where he discovered the path to liberation from suffering. His teachings, centered on compassion, mindfulness, and wisdom, spread across Asia and eventually the world. Today, Buddhism exists in many forms, including Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana traditions. Each has its own practices and interpretations, yet all share the same essential goal, to understand suffering and transcend it. In countries like Thailand, Sri Lanka, Japan, China, and Korea, Buddhism has shaped culture, architecture, philosophy, and daily life. In the United States and Europe, Buddhism has gained popularity as people search for balance, mental clarity, and spiritual meaning in a fast-paced world. However, if you truly want to see how Buddhism lives and breathes within a society, not just in monasteries, but in homes, markets, and everyday conversations, Vietnam offers a unique and powerful example. Buddhism in Vietnam, a gentle presence in daily life. In Vietnam, Buddhism is not always loudly declared, but it is deeply felt. It is present in the way people speak, the way they treat one another, and the way they face life's hardships. While not every Vietnamese person formally identifies as Buddhist, a vast majority follow Buddhist practices in some form, often blended with ancestor worship and traditional beliefs. Unlike in some Western contexts where religion is separate from daily life, in Vietnam, spirituality flows quietly through everyday routines. You might see a small altar in a family home, incense burning softly, or hear the distant echo of a temple bell at dawn. These are not grand gestures, they are simple, sincere expressions of faith. Temples, known as chùa, are found everywhere, from bustling cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City to quiet countryside villages. They are not just places for monks, they are open spaces where anyone can come to pray, reflect, or simply find a moment of peace. The rhythm of faith, full moon and new moon rituals. One of the most beautiful aspects of Vietnamese Buddhism is how it follows the rhythm of the lunar calendar. On the first day, Mung 1, and the 15th day, Ram, of every lunar month, many Vietnamese people visit temples to pray for peace, health, and good fortune. On these days, temples become lively yet serene gathering places. People arrive early in the morning, carrying offerings such as fruit, flowers, and incense. The air fills with the soft scent of burning incense, and the atmosphere is calm but deeply spiritual. For many Vietnamese, these visits are not about asking for wealth or success in a material sense. Instead, they are about seeking balance, peace in the mind, harmony in the family, and protection for loved ones. It is a moment to pause in a busy life and reconnect with something deeper. This practice might seem unusual to some Americans, but it is not unlike going to church on Sundays or saying a quiet prayer before an important moment. The difference is that in Vietnam, this spiritual rhythm happens twice every month, creating a regular and ongoing connection between people and their beliefs. The special meaning of the Lunar New Year. While temple visits happen throughout the year, they become especially meaningful during Tết Nguyên đán, the most important holiday in Vietnam. At the beginning of the new year, millions of Vietnamese people visit temples, often late at night on New Year's Eve or early in the first morning of the year. This is a sacred moment, a time when the old year fades away and a new one begins, full of hope and possibility. Families dress in their best clothes, sometimes traveling long distances to visit famous temples. They light incense, bow respectfully, and pray for a year of peace, health, and happiness. Some also ask for guidance, believing that the New Year's first prayer sets the tone for everything that follows. The atmosphere during this time is truly magical. Temples glow with lantern light, the sound of bells echoes in the night, and there is a sense of collective hope that brings people together. Even those who are not deeply religious often take part, because it is not just about belief, it is about tradition, family, and cultural identity. Compassion and kindness, the core values. What makes Buddhism in Vietnam especially powerful is not just the rituals, but the values it teaches. Compassion, humility, patience, and gratitude are deeply respected qualities in Vietnamese society. Children are often taught from a young age to be kind to others, to respect elders, and to avoid causing harm. These values are not always explicitly labeled as Buddhist, but they are clearly influenced by Buddhist philosophy. For example, the idea of karma, that actions have consequences, is widely understood. People believe that doing good will bring good results, not just in this life but beyond. This belief encourages acts of kindness, from helping neighbors to giving charity to those in need. In many temples, you will also find charitable activities such as free meals for the poor, support for orphans, and aid for disaster victims. Buddhism here is not just about personal enlightenment, it is about helping others and creating a better society. A unique blend of traditions. One fascinating aspect of Vietnamese spirituality is how Buddhism blends with other traditions, especially ancestor worship. In most Vietnamese homes, there is an altar dedicated to ancestors, where family members offer incense and prayers. This practice reflects a deep respect for family and history. It is believed that ancestors continue to watch over their descendants, and maintaining this connection is both a duty and a source of comfort. Rather than conflicting with Buddhism, this tradition complements it. Together, they create a rich spiritual landscape where the past and present coexist, and where faith is expressed not just in temples, but within the family itself. Why Buddhism in Vietnam resonates with the world. For many Americans and Western audiences, the appeal of Buddhism lies in its focus on mindfulness and inner peace. In a world filled with stress, noise, and constant activity, the idea of slowing down and being present is incredibly attractive. Vietnam offers a living example of how these ideas can be integrated into daily life, not as a trend, but as a tradition that has endured for centuries. Here, spirituality is not something separate from life, it is part of life. It is in the quiet act of lighting incense, the gentle bow before a statue, the shared meal with family, and the simple wish for peace. This is what makes Buddhism in Vietnam so special. It is not about perfection or strict rules. It is about sincerity, balance, and the human desire to live a good and meaningful life. A final reflection. Buddhism, whether practiced in a temple in Asia or a meditation center in the West, offers a timeless message: life is full of challenges, but there is a path to peace. In Vietnam, this message is not just taught, it is lived. It is seen in the millions of people who quietly visit temples on the 1st and 15th of each month. It is felt in the energy of the Lunar New Year, when hopes and prayers rise together. And it is reflected in the kindness and resilience of the Vietnamese people. For anyone seeking to understand Buddhism beyond books and theories, Vietnam provides a beautiful and authentic window into its heart. It shows that faith does not have to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes, the most meaningful beliefs are the ones that quietly guide us, day by day, toward a more peaceful and compassionate life. If this video helped you see Vietnam in a new way, please subscribe to Hidden Vietnam Ways and join us on this journey. We bring you the stories you don't see on the surface. The culture, the spirit, and the hidden beauty of Vietnam.